Hey everybody, First and Beaver here. Today you're watching me driving a Datsun 510, upgraded to A-Class in an A-Class circuit race on the Nürburgring, and I hadn't played in a while and wanted to play, and I figured this will be a good thing to show while I just talk about one of the things I've just, been thinking about lately because I haven't done it in a while, and that's traveling. And I'd like to open up, please leave comments about the cool places you've been and everything, but I'm just going to talk about my experiences a little here, and if you want more information, let me know. I can talk all day about the things I've experienced around the world. But growing up, we traveled a lot as a family, not out of the country. Well, Canada. I've always lived pretty much 20 minutes away from Canada. I can get in my car right now and be in Canada in 20 minutes. That's the benefit of living in Detroit area. I've been to Toronto and places in Windsor hundreds of times. We used to go camping up north in Michigan, and I grew up in the Metro Detroit area, not in Detroit but outside of it, and going up north is a big thing, going to Traverse City or Mackinac Island. Mackinac Island's great if you're not familiar with it and you ever have a chance to go. I suggest it. It's a little island at the top of right off the, I would say, pointy finger of Michigan. And it's just a small island. You can ride your bike around it. It's 8 miles. I've done it many times. And there's no cars on the island except for a fire truck and an ambulance. It's all horses, carriages, and bikes, and walking. It's a very relaxing, great place. I proposed to my wife there. We used to go there for our honeymoon a lot. Not our honeymoon, but our anniversary a lot every year when we could, and it's one of my favorite places. But then as I got older, traveling was no big deal, and then my friend at the time, his parents got transferred to Tokyo, and he decided, well, free trip to Tokyo, I'm taking it. So he went, and then while he was there, his parents needed to leave to go to Seoul for a month or so, and they said, you can invite somebody out. So he called me up, said, get out here, we gotta hang in Tokyo. And I didn't really want to go. I mean, Tokyo is like number 586 on my top 200 places I wanted to visit. It was something I was never interested in at the time. This is like 1994, I think. And so my mom's like, you got to do it. Trust me, you'll regret it if you don't. So I went, got a really cheap ticket, amazingly cheap ticket, and spent about a month and a half in Tokyo. And yes, it created the start of my mania of having to go places. I love traveling, and that was a great experience, and I could go on and on and on about all the cool things that I did and seen and all that, but obviously I don't have time. But if you're interested, let me know. I can definitely throw up some more videos about it, or if you have specific questions. We lived right downtown. I biked around downtown Tokyo all the time. I met some very interesting characters. I had a small little Asian old man swap my penis. I was clothed, but some crazy stuff happened. But that really created my, okay, there's something outside the United States. There's something out there. I mean, I've been all around the U.S. I've been to the Grand Canyon. My wife and I, 4 years ago maybe, we jumped in the car and drove all the way to Las Vegas and back for 2 weeks. Grand Canyon and Vegas and blah blah blah. I mean, there's some great places in the US, but there's a lot of great places outside of the US. My next big trip after Tokyo was, as I've mentioned in another video if you saw it, I got invited to go on these archaeology digs because I used to work for a museum, and the archaeology director liked me and thought I was definitely needed on the dig for entertainment purposes. So I went on for 2 straight years, 2 digs, and in Denmark, and that was great. We lived on a very small island. There's anywhere from like 12 to 20 of us in the house, and there's a lot of drinking that goes on. There's only one bar / restaurant / inn on the island where we spent all of our evenings. I could go, oh my god, the stories of driving the coastal road at night after the bar with no lights on. The time he crashed into a farmer's field one night driving back from the bar with no lights on. I could tell a lot of stories. If you're interested in hearing the Denmark stories, which are full of debauchery and craziness, let me know. I can definitely, I got a ton of videos I could post up and talk over to about that. But that was a great experience, and Denmark is an amazing country. I think very underrated. I've spent a lot of time while I was there, got lucky to spend a lot of time in Copenhagen, and got a lot of time of just going through the whole country and the countryside, and oh, here's where I flip. But it's a great country, and it's very underrated. My wife and I, well, she's my girlfriend at the time. She won a trip to England. She's a huge, I think they're called Anglophiles. She loves everything British, and I'm surprised she married me because I'm not British, but we went on a trip. She'd been there a couple times or once before, but we went, and it was great because it was free. And we stayed in London for 5 days, and then went to Inverness, Scotland, where Loch Ness is, for 3 days, and then back down. That was a great experience. Inverness is great. It's again probably top 3 best places I've ever been, and it's not about the monster. I don't care about the monster. We did go to the Nessie Experience 2000, because I think that was the year we went, was 2000, and it was interesting. It's a little museum right there along the loch, but it basically tries to tell you there's no monster, so that was kind of cool. But then at the end is a gift shop with stuffed monsters. So anyway, we loved it there. I mean, just taking the train from London to Inverness was an overnight train. That was a pretty cool experience. In London, in England, in the countryside, in the castles. Oh my God, the castles. And I mean, in the people, and everything's great. And I know one day, without a doubt in my mind, that we will end up living there at some point, once she gets this novel of hers taken care of and gets the big movie deal. But and then on our honeymoon, which was, a year and a half later, maybe. That's pretty bad. I'm trying to think. I can't do math while trying to do this and not run out of time here. Anyway, a couple years later, we'll say, we went on our honeymoon, which we took the Queen Elizabeth II from New York City to Southampton, England. And that was 6 days on the water on a cruise line that wasn't a party cruise line, though we did have a lot of fun. And then, but it took 6 days. Went by the Titanic, where near like 100 miles, I think, south of where the Titanic sunk, and stuff like that. But that was a great trip, really elegant and fancy, and lobster and saffron risotto for dinner every night and stuff like that. And oh God, I could go on and on about that. But then we stayed in London and went back up to Inverness for some time. And then the last big trip was last year in April, when we went to Seoul, South Korea, to pick up our son. That wasn't a vacation. I kind of regret not having as much fun, but it was a very stressful, crazy experience, and we definitely will be going back again to take him, definitely. So I look forward to that, because what I do remember was great. What I just wasn't in a good frame of mind. It was very stressful, which I'd love to talk about that if you're interested in just the whole experience. But that's it, and I didn't do really well in the race, but it was a fun race, and hope you enjoyed. Let me know, and take care. Bye-bye.